Today I am going to be talking about chapter 1. I know it's only the first chapter, and I definitely could have picked a chapter deeper into the textbook, but I felt as if I didn't really get to talk about this chapter in the first assignment that we turned in last week. First, the title of this chapter is Media and Culture, so each section talks about that in some sort of way. First, I want to talk about the second section of chapter 1, and it talks about the differences between mass media and mass communication, as well as giving the definition of how the textbook defines culture. Mass media is a means of communication that is designed to meet a wide audience, like the radio, internet, news, and more than just that. Mass communication is information that is transmitted to large segments of population through print, digital, or electronic, like through phones. The definition of culture that the textbook gives is it refers to the shared values, attitudes, and beliefs and practices of a group. The sixth section of Chapter 1 talks about the different cultural periods. There are two different ages of culture, the modern age and the postmodern age. The early modern period was from the 1400s to the 1700s, and it began with Gutenberg's printing press. Then there is the late modern period that is from the 1700s on to the 1900s, and that was started by the Industrial Revolution. The dates of when the postmodern age when it was started, it's still being debated over, but it was marked by skepticism and reappraisal of modern conventions. In section 7 of chapter 1, it says that mass media and pop culture have been entwined from the beginning, and mass media often determines what makes up the pop culture scene, according to the textbook. And now it seems in this chapter it says that that there are less people watching TV as much now as they did back in the 60s to the late 90s. I think three main points that I thought kind of resonated with me and that I thought were important is, one, I feel like you can look at the different ages of culture and see how each one was developed and find it interesting looking back at section 6 of the textbook, or of chapter 1 in the textbook. 2, pop culture kind of defines what media is, and if we don't have pop culture, media might not, in my opinion, be found as important. And lastly, I find it interesting but kind of weird how more people were watching TV in the 60s to the 90s, as there was more views than nowadays, because now TVs are more available and popular, but I guess it might be because YouTube is now more popular. I think in 50 years this topic will be viewed as a thing in the past, just because YouTube and things like that are such a big deal now and will probably be way more prevalent in the future.